Hey guys, Flippin' Landlord Ninja here.
Kevin the Property Prince.
And we are Two Guys Take on Real Estate. So today we're going to be answering a question we get asked all the time by new investors in rental property is, how do you determine what the rent costs? So, we're going to go through that after we ask you guys to please like, share, comment.
And subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on this and upcoming videos.
Because we're releasing new videos every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
That's a lot of videos.
I know, but it takes a lot of time.
We should start charging for this stuff, and we're not. So stick around and learn for free with us, Two Guys Take on Real Estate.
Two Guys Take on Real Estate. Okay, so now let's get into the meat of the subject.
Absolutely.
So how do you determine, what the market is? Honestly, we just usually put up a dartboard and we have a bunch of numbers on it, and then we throw darts at it and say, $1,000.
We put our ads just
as $1.
All of our ads just ask for
$1 million.
But in the meantime, there's actually a little bit of thought that goes into how do you price your apartments. And there's honestly a few different types of ways you can start getting enough information to help you at least make some basic decisions about where to start in terms of your pricing.
So one of the first ways is you can actually utilize the internet, and there's some great platforms out there that are available, and they kind of curate a lot of the different data points of other people that are listing their information and use it, such as Zillow. Zillow has a great resource to kind of get a gauge of what other people are marketing their rents for, and they'll give you a rent, kind of a zestimate or a rent estimate that you can kind of gauge. There's also Rentometer, which is a similar service that does the same thing.
So they'll get you in the ballpark, of where you should be pricing. And I mean, it's not going to know your property, it's not going to know the different amenities in your property and all of that, but like I said, it'll get you an idea of where you should be. From there, you can kind of narrow it down a little bit by maybe moving to the next step and kind of try to evaluate the great asking price for your apartment, which is, snoop at some of your, we don't call them competitors, but snoop to some of your colleagues' listings.
Exactly. Talk to the other local property managers or other landlords. If you go to a landlord association, talk to them. Hey, have you listed anything recently? What are you seeing the average rent for a 3-bedroom in your area? And you're also going to want to think, this is very market specific.
Right.
So, for instance, in our town, like Springfield, Forest Park is very different than, the north end or the south end. So, that will change the value of that rental. Right. As well as, like Kevin was saying, different amenities. If you put granite in all of your kitchens and your baths, that might give you a little bit more a leg up on your competition, which will allow you to charge a little bit more rent. Maybe you also have a fire pit in the back, which I would highly recommend not doing with a tenant, because that just sounds like a liability nightmare.
Might as well install a trampoline while you're at it.
Oh yeah, and a pool.
Right, of course, all the liability hazards, and just hand out free water beds at every lease signing while you're at it.
Are those even a thing anymore?
I don't know, but I mean, it's still in our lease, so it's got to be. Maybe, it's a pretty old lease, I guess. I don't know. Let's face it, all 3-bedroom apartments aren't exactly the same. Some might be smaller 3-bedrooms, some might be larger. So you don't want to be into a situation where you find yourself undercharging by hundreds of dollars rent on an apartment that could be producing valuable and needed income for yourself.
Well, and you also might want to consider a 4th floor might be a different price than a 1st floor. So if you have a 4-story apartment building and you're trying to rent on the 1st floor, that might be much more appealing to someone, especially if they have a condition where they have to walk up and down the stairs.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So there's a lot of different things you should use to evaluate to help tweak your pricing for your specific apartment when you compare it to your colleagues, and you want to get a good sense of that as well. But the other thing you should be doing when you're getting ready to post your listing for availability is to realize you probably can't bring the price up once you've published a price. So if you decided to rent your home, your apartment for $1,000, and you realize you're getting hundreds of inquiries because, you probably should have priced it at $1,500. Good luck telling everybody that the ad was a mistake or something like that, and you got to charge $1,500. So start with the most aggressively high price that you feel comfortable and you think, based on your basic research here, that your property is qualified for. And if you find that you're not getting enough response or the response you're looking for, that is your local market telling you that you probably asked a little too much. You can always bring your pricing down, but you really can't go bringing your pricing up.
Very good point. I mean, and once again, if you're buying these rental properties, I'm sure you had a general idea of what you were going to charge when you bought it to make sure you cash flowed. So maybe that number is a little bit higher than you were thinking. Like Kevin said, be a little aggressive so you can maximize the return on your investment. And you can't ask for it later, and you maybe can, in a year or two, get that bumped up a little bit. But it's going to be hard to ask for $400 or $500 bump after a year of renting the property. So start as high as possible, and then you can slowly do a little rent increases over the years, but you're not going to be able to walk back and get a lot of that.
That's very, very true. And remember, like you said, you can do rent increases over the years, and rent adjustments are, I like to call them rent adjustments, are always very, very important because it helps your tenant understand that their contract locks them in for that period of time at that price, but that contract as it expires has to get renegotiated and adjusted. It could go down possibly to retain somebody, but also it could go up based on the market going up. The idea is they shouldn't be moving in and thinking that that's the price they're going to have from day one until year 10, as long as they don't leave. So if they moved in with an incredibly underpriced rent, it doesn't mean that they're entitled to that price the entire time that they live there if they're staying there for multiple years.
I mean, think about it. Your expenses are going up. Besides inflation, you have your taxes are increasing. The cost of maybe the water and the sewer.
Look at supply costs right now to do
Supply
renovation
costs,
and
yep.
repair work.
Exactly. Labor costs have been going through the roof.
Right.
So, I mean, these are things that you're going to have to front, and eventually you're going to have to put a new roof on. And a roof that maybe costs $10,000 now, in 10 years, it's probably going to cost closer to $20,000. So you're going to have to be able to front that cost. And if you're not slowly increasing the rents and making sure you're holding back more money so that you can cover that cost, you're going to have to find other ways to actually front that leasehold improvement.
And don't forget too, when you're assessing the value of your rental price, you can look to always find new ways to increase the appeal, the value, the amenities, and your offerings of what you're renting. So maybe your property has a garage that you previously weren't allowing access to, or maybe if you are allowing access and say, listen, this property has garage access, and we haven't been charging for that appropriately. So this year it's going to be a little bit more. Or if you're putting your ad together, remember to make sure you're comparing your property to another exact or as close to as possible like kind property. Maybe that property doesn't have a garage or offer off-street parking. You could offer that as part of yours and help every single person that is interested in your apartment, but maybe is telling you, hey, I'm gonna go choose another apartment. It's a little bit less expensive. I found a better deal down the street. You say, listen, don't forget, I have off-street parking. I have a garage parking for you. Maybe you're choosing to allow basement access or washer dryer hookups, or maybe a fire pit and trampolines. I don't know, that's up to you. But make sure you highlight all of that value adds that you have at your property to command that higher price.
Also remember that it's actually much more expensive to find a new tenant than it is to retain a tenant. So if you want to keep all those good tenants, work with them as close as possible to find a reasonable rent that works for them and you, because it takes a lot to actually renovate the property. Your loss of rent when you're waiting to re-rent the property, that could take years to recoup what you could have just maybe lowered their rent $50 and kept them for the next 5 years, as opposed to get them out, find someone that maybe pays that extra $50, $100, but it's going to take you 2 to 3 years to recoup that difference of the turnover and the loss of rent.
You couldn't be more right. Don't get too hung up on this stuff. Yes, it's important, but if you look at it and you don't realize the bigger picture, which is that it may keep the apartment empty or it may cause you to lose a potentially good tenant. Remember, sometimes in real estate, you got to look at your investment properties being a marathon, not a sprint, and you have to realize that over time, this is a big, big difference.
Exactly. If you're not flipping this property, you're looking to get maximum return on your investment over the long term. This is about building wealth over long term, not building over necessarily the short term. So if you'd like to learn more about using the BRRRR strategy and how you can start buying these rental properties and how we actually acquired over 500 rental units, you want to check out this video right here. And as always, guys, we really appreciate you joining our channel, and hope to see you on the next one.
Don't forget, drop a comment below. Let us know if this video is helpful for you, and if you could recommend a friend to our channel as well. Thanks.
Awesome.